day 2 of DIY day. We did not get to build the compost bin yesterday, so we did get our 2 garden boxes done, and today we're gonna build our compost bin. So let me show you what materials we are working with today. We've got, take you over here. We've got 3 2x6x8 boards, which will be the 3 sides of the box. And what we're gonna do is measure and cut these in 3 equal lengths, which I'll explain later, but gonna get 3 equal pieces out of each board, and that will be for the left and the right side and the back of the box. Then we've got our 2x4s here, and we're gonna cut those, measure those, and cut those to make the 4 posts to go in each corner of the box. And I was able to salvage these pieces right here. You can tell they've got slits in them. Those are going to stand up at the front of the box on each side, and then that way we can use fence post, which is also salvaged wood that we had, and we're going to cut those, and then we can drop in fence posts between the slots in the front of the box, and then that way as our compost bin grows, we can put, you know, build up however many pieces of wood we need in the front to hold everything in, and then we can add and take away as needed. Another thing that you'll need is chicken wire, and that's going to wrap around the sides of the box. That way you get airflow in there for the compost bin. We went ahead and picked up some weed material, and that's going to be put in our garden boxes to keep weeds down. But yeah, that's pretty much all the materials you need. And then as far as tools, I will show you what kind of tools you'll need. Okay, so for the tools that you'll need for this little project, got to get you some good music. Today we are opting for 90s country. You'll need a screwdriver and screws, right angle, and a drill bit. Need a right angle, your pencil for marking, and tape measure. Our blade went out yesterday, so we went and got a brand new blade this morning, and we got the 40, which I learned today what that means. So this is the number of teeth that your blade is gonna have, and the more teeth it has, so let's say 40 compared to 60, the more teeth it has, the cleaner cut you'll get, but the lower number tends to cut a little bit faster. So we kind of got a blade in the middle. So we got the 40, and then you'll also need a rubber mallet just in case you need to hammer some stuff in to get your wood and your sides flush. But that should be all the tools you need for today. And of course, you always need a good assistant. Okay, so for our very first step, what we're gonna do is I went ahead and measured 30 inches and marked that. Again, we've got 3 8-foot long 2x6 boards. And so we're just gonna cut each of those in 3, it'll make 3 pieces. It was a little bit longer, but to keep things simple, we just are gonna do 30-inch pieces. So we're gonna have a total of 9 30-inch long 2x6s. So we're gonna head and get those measured and cut up. Okay, so we got our 9 boards cut, 30 inches long, and basically, so the next step is gonna start building out our frame. I've kind of just got it propped up right now, but you can see we've got 3 sides there as our base. Those are each 30 inches long. We're gonna, tack those in, and then we'll get our, measure our 2x4s, and those are gonna go here in the corner, in all of those corners, and then that's gonna be the frame. And then what we'll do is just start building up the sides, and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, I had to throw on some different clothes. I like getting that vitamin D. We're using our garden box as a template and brace. So we just set those boards up there, and now I'm just gonna put in 2 screws in there to get our base going. Okay, we got our base built. This is gonna be the back side, and then we've got the 2 sides. Now we're ready to do our post. And since we found the scrap wood that already has those slits in it, I just decided I'm just gonna do the height for whatever this is. And so I just measured out 2 2x4s. So these posts will go in the back of the box like that. So we're gonna have 2 of those, one there and one there. And then the front of the box will have the wood with the slits in it. And then that way we can drop our fence post for the front. Now, if you can't find these, you can always build them. Just get you a couple like little square or, you know, just narrow pieces of wood, and then you can build yourself a slit. But since we found those, that's what we're using today. Right, so we got our base of the compost bin. So now maybe it makes a little bit more sense. So here's the 2 pieces with the slits, and I'm going to cut cedar fence post going horizontal, and then I can just drop those in. That way, as the compost pile grows, I can just put in extra boards as needed. So now what we're going to do is just take the rest of our 2x6s, and I'm gonna do one, what am I trying to call it? I'm gonna go around each side up here at the top, and then one in the middle. And then that way airflow will come through there, and then I will take chicken wire and go around all the sides of it. All right, we have our frame for the compost bin. So the next step, before I build the cedar or cut the cedar post to do the front slats, I'm gonna take the chicken wire and then go on the inside from top to bottom. And I'm gonna do chicken wire on the 2 sides and the back. And then once that step's done, the last step will be cutting the fence post, and those will go into the slats. I think it looked pretty good though. I got 2 sides done, but don't do what I did. I got the chicken wire with the holes too big, so I'm having to double up on the layers, so it makes the hole smaller so all the compost doesn't fall out. So just make sure you get the chicken wire that has the little holes. That'll do it. All right, there it is. Got chicken wire on all 3 sides, 2 layers worth. Now our last step is to cut our cedar fence post, which will be able to drop down through the slots. We may too, I don't know if we're gonna do it, well, we may, I haven't decided yet, but I'm thinking about doing a little top just to cover up the end of that chicken wire to give it a cleaner look. We'll see. Well, there it is. We had some leftover 2x4s. So my husband's a perfectionist, and I do agree with him. So we're gonna finish out just putting some trim over the top just to give it a finished look. So what we're gonna do is cut our 2x4s to do one there and one there, and have the 2x4s in the front, and then run them across on each side, and that'll just give it a nice finished look. I know it's a compost bin and all that, but we still like it pretty, but I think it looks really good. All right, got our 3 top pieces on to finish it out. Let me show you what we did here. Come here in the shade. We cut little notches, that way these front pieces can slide out and slide back in. That's what she said. Last step is to cut our 2x4s to finish the front, and then she'll be done. Final step. sand the edges. Ta-da! Compost bin is finished. Do a little walk around so you can see all the sides. Just cleaned up the screw holes and edges with the sander so I don't get splinters in case I grab it, but I think it turned out really, really good. Overall, it took us, actually it took this little box took us longer than the garden boxes. I think just because there's more detail, and then we just had to figure out exactly what style we wanted to build it. I had to do a couple layers of chicken wire, so that took a little while. And then we decided to trim it out just to make it look better. But overall, I'm very happy with it. Let me show you how it works. So I'll just pull each of those out as my compost pile grows. Or actually, said that backwards. I'll keep them out at the beginning because it'll be a small pile, and then as it grows, to keep the compost pile in, I'll just add cedar posts as needed. But yeah, pretty happy with it. Here lies the final resting place for the compost pile. We found a cozy little corner away from windows and away from the backyard, so it's not an eyesore. Got our extra pickets here so we can put those in when the pile gets taller, and I've already started composting. Got some leaves and eggshells, vegetable scraps, so I've never done a compost pile before, so we'll see how long this takes. From what I read on the YouTube, it seems like most people are probably working on their pile for a good year before you have really good compost, but we'll see. But there it is, final product. Okay, well that was DIY weekend. We got our garden boxes done, our compost bin done. Very productive. It was a gorgeous weekend. Could not have had a better weekend with the weather, so perfect time to be outside. And I'm still working on the layout of how I want to do the garden boxes. For now, this is how they're laid out, and the compost bin was on the other side of the house, but we'll see. I'm gonna play around with the layout a little bit, but other than that, last thing I'm gonna do is put down some of that weed material and then fill it up with soil and compost, which I'm gonna have to buy this year. Hopefully next year I'll have some good compost, homegrown compost, but yep, get the boxes ready and then we'll start planting the seeds. I'm excited. I'll have to do some more videos in the future once my vegetables start growing, but that is DIY weekend. One last thing I forgot to mention, of all the material that we purchased, this is all that's left, just some scraps of a 2x4. So we did really, really good estimating how much material we needed. It just worked out perfect. Overall cost for the 2 garden boxes and the compost bin was right at about $100. So very affordable project. We were able to salvage a couple pieces. We had, like I said, those cedar fence posts for the compost bin, and so everything just worked out perfect. But cheap, relatively easy and quick project that we did in a weekend.